I think any organization should have stability of leadership, stability of governance in order to be focused on the business. In that sense, yes, certainly I hope to have stability. We have an extraordinary leader. Vishal is very committed. We have an excellent leadership team. There will of course be some churn that is a part of the process of changing, that is the process of growing up, but save that, yes, I do think that we will have a stable environment.
You know, as someone who's been entrusted with the responsibility of managing shareholders' expectations on the board, what's your mandate to Vishal? Would it be to restore the company to its bellwether status? What would be your mandate to the CEO?
You know, it's the board's and the CEO's joint goal. I won't call that as my mandate or even the board's mandate, but I think this has been a goal that we have jointly scripted, and that clearly is to take leadership. Take leadership not merely as a bellwether company in India, but to be known as a leader in the IT industry, and to regain what the founders of this company so appropriately described as a vision to be as the most respected company. And you get respect only if you're a leader, and that's precisely what the goal is.
So this is leadership both in absolute and relative terms. It's not just how Infosys has fared compared to what it was a few quarters back, but also compared to its peers, say at TCS, Cognizant.
Yeah, I would say that yes, there is a leadership in as much as the growth rates and the profitability ratios and all of that would indicate that's one part of that. But I think leadership also is in terms of imagining the future, taking the leadership positioning in scripting a new chapter for not merely for the company but for the industry and for the client. Those are the kind of things, yardsticks by which companies get ultimately measured for respect. It's not merely in quarterly numbers. I think so we ought to go beyond that, and that's precisely the way we are going.
Since you spoke about the founders, you know, while they've completely disengaged from the company, and in fact they've even sold some part of their holding in the company as well, but they still, you know, many would say they still have a moral authority on the company as founders. And you know, in your address in the annual general meeting, you referred to Mr. Murthy as the Bhishma Pitama. As the chairman, do you still reach out to him, take some advice once in a while?
It was Mr. Murthy who laid down the principle that there is going to be no asymmetry of information between one group of shareholders and another group of shareholders. What we lay out is open to everyone.
Sure.
That principle has not changed. And if the credit should go to somebody, it should go to the promoters, because they haven't put any pressure on any of us to have any asymmetry of information to them as opposed to the general investing public.
Even if there is no asymmetric flow of information, within the symmetric flow of information or whatever, is there some communication? Do you reach out at times to Mr. Murthy, or has he completely disengaged and there is no conversation also?
You know, I certainly reach out and will reach out to Murthy when I need advice. But that is different to saying that we reach out from the point of view of running a business. I think the two are very different. He is an extraordinary person, is a very wise person, and therefore his guidance will be necessary and useful. But that's something that we have to choose.
You know, moving away from Infosys to industry issues, I'm sure you must be very disappointed at the legislative logjam that we've seen in the monsoon session of Parliament, which has led to the GST almost getting stalled.
You know, Sandeep, I'm like millions of other Indians, I feel extremely anguished, because I don't look at this as a GST issue. I don't even look at this as a monsoon session having been wasted. I look at this as a fundamental distrust that we would begin to see in the parliamentary democracy process. Are we a dysfunctional democracy? Are we saying that despite a majority government, and this is the only hope for us, you know, despite a majority government, we cannot get legislations done. We cannot work functionally the parliamentary process. That, to my mind, is an extremely disturbing thought.
Just a few more questions. One is on the land bill, and I know you've been, vocally talking about the need for land reform. We saw the government take a step in that direction. Again, wasn't a perfect land bill, but still, it had some perfection, but it was a significant improvement over what we were left with by the previous government. But again, we're now given to understand that it's moving back on it because of the lack of political consensus. Does that disappoint you?
Yes, it does. I think the land bill certainly has disappointing impact on everybody. Because again, I don't think land is an enabler. Land is a necessity. This is, I don't think we can say that, we have land available and therefore come and invest. This is a necessary condition but not an adequate condition. So if you're going to be faltering on the necessary condition for investments, which is the only way to grow, then I think we have deep worries. Because no matter what else you do, but if the necessary hygiene conditions are not there, such as land availability, then we have an issue. I don't know. I think the best way to deal with that is what the Prime Minister so correctly says, that I want competitive federalism, leave the state governments to compete and find their solutions to this, which would be the more expedient solution again, coming back.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.